Hey guys, this video will contain spoilers for Sloth IF, Arc 5 and of course Arc 6. For those of you that are wondering where my Arc 5 Interlude 3 video is, that will be coming soon. For those of you that are watching this video and have no idea what these interludes are, at the end of Arc 5 there are 3 interlude chapters. These have not been translated and I'm making summaries of them. I'm sure you remember when I hit 2,000 subs, I put out a poll asking what video theory I should make next, and this was the clear winner. Now of course when I hit 3,000 subs, as is tradition, I'll put out another poll and we'll repeat this process again. If you've watched my Garfiel cannot smell the witch's scent explanation, you would know that I categorized the people that can smell the witch's scent into 2 categories. Either people that had a relationship to the witch, or people that had a relationship to the witch cult. Of course, even though if characters meet this criteria, it doesn't necessarily mean they'll smell the witch's scent. The examples I gave were Ram, Roswell, Puck, and even Subaru, because he cannot smell the witch's scent. If we look at the normal conclusion people come to, that is that Ram could actually smell the witch's scent because she's an Oni. However, due to the loss of her horn, she lost the ability to smell the witch's scent. And due to this, only Rem can smell the witch's scent because she's the only Oni left with her horn. This is very evident when you read chapter 83, and in that chapter it states that the witch cult managed to blindside the Oni village. And of course, if the Onis could smell the witch cult, it's unlikely that they would be caught off guard. You can also see this in chapter 86 where Ram is using Rem's horn. When Liebat Chaos tries to escape, at no point does Ram use her sense of smell to smell the witch scent to track down Liebat Chaos. Instead, she uses her clairvoyance to track him down. This implies that Ram cannot smell the witch's scent, even if she had a horn. To get to the conclusion though, we need to visit an if story, known as Sloth IF or Rem IF. In this story, there is an Oni known as Reese or Rice, depending on the translation you use, and in this story she cannot smell the witch's scent. However, after being modified by Capella, she's able to smell the witch's scent. Now of course the theory is that Rem is able to smell the witch's scent due to Capella being present at the Oni village attack. We also know in the Apocalypse Girls prequel light novel involving Elsa that Capella wants to have daughters which swear fealty to her and follow her commands. That's the reason why Meili and Elsa call Capella Mama. Also, to further bolster this is the fact that in the anime you can see that Rem is alone, so this gives chance for Capella to sneak in and modify her body to smell the witch's scent. Other similarities include the fact that Reese in Sloth IF was the only Oni to survive in her village, whereas in the main story, Rem and Ram are the only survivors, and one of them has the exact same traits as Reese, being able to smell the witch's scent. If we look at the actual description of what happens to Reese, is this idea that something gets poured into her body, and that her body was rejecting it, her soul was rejecting it, and that it was violating her. Similarly, when Capella pours dragon blood into Subaru is the exact same sort of description, this idea that this foreign entity was trying to merge with Subaru and take control. The final thing I want to show you is when Beetlejuice absorbs the Sloth Witch Factor, in which the Witch Factor is described as a wriggling black something. It then goes on to say that this something swallowed him whole. It was as if his existence was being clawed away. Now you'll notice this is actually a very similar description as to what happens when Capella pours the blood into Subaru and Reese. You could come to 2 conclusions from this evidence, that firstly the substance is actually cursed dragon blood, and the second one is that the substance is in fact a witch factor or a partial witch factor. And before you say that other archbishops cannot split their factors, in fact we know multiple ones can. In fact Beetlejuice, for example, splits his factors with the other fingers. Now we know it cannot be a witch factor because we know how many factors Subaru actually has, and there's no way he has the lost witch factor, so number 2 cannot be the answer. Now if this substance was dragon blood, we know that Crucia's body rejected it, whereas Subaru's body kind of accepted it. However, neither of them can smell the witch's scent, as far as we know. So something is telling me that what Capella poured into Reese may not have been her blood, it may have been something else. Or maybe it's just that Reese, being an Oni, could adapt to the dragon blood a bit differently to everyone else. So with gathering all of the evidence and coming to a conclusion, my theory is that Capella poured dragon blood into Rem while she slept, and since Rem was an Oni, she gained the ability to smell the scent like Reese did in Sloth IF. Krush and Subaru, whilst being poured with dragon blood, cannot smell the scent because they are human and the dragon blood reacts differently with humans than it does with Onis. Now, there's in fact a different interpretation of why Rem can smell the witch's scent, and that is the Pandora theory. However, the Pandora theory is actually a lot more eventful because it will have bigger implications in the entire series if it was true. It actually follows the same sort of logic as the Otto and Pandora theory. In fact, Rem is not spotted by the gospel that Roswell has. Rem can also smell the witch's scent, stuff like that, and I'll be covering that in a different video. So hopefully this video wasn't that confusing and you enjoyed it, but thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.